Hello, what it is, audience. Today we are going to be talking about Looksmaxing. The person on the screen right now is named Dillon Latham, and recently there was a controversy on TikTok in which he was canceled. He was doxxed and witch hunted by the people of looksmaxing.org, a forum that trains people to look better through mewing, weight loss, a number of different techniques. They're very insular and protective of their secrets. And this man who has, made videos that hundreds of millions of people have seen, he's leaking their stuff and it's secretive material. And now his life is being threatened. Yet this whole thing, it's a big farce. It's like a marketing thing to give him a bunch more attention. I'm sure he did get doxxed, and I'm sure there are people who are hyper protective and vigilant around their forum secrets. But the whole thing is kind of a joke because of how popular Looksmaxing has become online. This thing that was previously known to only, the terminally online 10 years ago, is now something Gen Z kids are making countless edits of. It's as popular as the Sigma male stuff. Like, this is one of their mascots, that guy, Jordan, some like male model. And it's gotten to the point where it's like one of the most popular memes on TikTok. A lot of it is real engagement with it. People trying these things, doing the jaw training, giving themselves TMJ because they're, insecure. And it makes sense that this would evolve in the way it does because TikTok, the face algorithm underneath all of it, the For You page optimizes for beautiful people. If I'm a normal looking guy and I'm constantly seeing everyone on my For You page look fucking amazing, it's going to be pretty like red pilling over like, wow, I want to look good too. So I feel insecure about how I look. So naturally, it makes sense why there's influencers who are, have a million followers talking about Looksmaxing, talking about canthal tilts. It's why there's a filter and absolutely completely normal people who would have not known about any of these kind of hyper fixations around physiognomy and face and stuff talking about this. It's insane to me, but it's true. It's happening. It's why, as you can see behind this Barstool Sports guy who literally, he's like a journalist for Barstool Sports. Obviously, it's a popular publication, but it's Barstool Sports. It's not like the prestigious New York Times, but basically, he does the line test. He's like the CEO of the line test. And it's like everyone who's been online for 10 years in these sub-communities and longer knows the line test. It's like an incel thing. It's about posture and dominance and et cetera, et cetera. And I say all of this to say this isn't surprising. I mean, I made a video about this, a Sigma male video. I'll just toss it up on screen where I talk about the adoption curve. And I talk about how every niche subculture gets kind of turned into something that can be understood by huge amounts of people. If it is a memetically successful thing, if it's something that's viable and should be spread. And it makes sense why Looksmaxing, why all these things are coming to serve the purpose they are now. It's because they're memetically viable. They're put into very easily understandable, translatable meme formats that suddenly make something that's rather nuanced and complex in the way it's presented to autismo people online, super easy to understand, which I say all this to say it makes sense. Personal take on Looksmaxing, look into Gabriel D'Annunzio if you're insecure about how you look. Dude was horrific looking, but he had the most swag, he had the most vibe in all of Italy. He was the most sought after man in all of Italy, despite being, very short, ugly, green teeth, balding, etc. All the worst things. You can, if you vibe hard enough, you can, be extremely attractive if that's what you care about. But I want to use this pedestal where I'm talking about these meme formats that make relatively complex things easy to understand for huge amounts of people. I want to use it as a pedestal to talk about a meme format that I haven't seen anyone talk about yet, which is human superiority. This is a meme format that is basically oriented around this idea that humans are the Chad Wojak and aliens are the Soy Jack. And it's all these edits and memes it's been popping up over the past week on TikTok and a couple other places where in the wake of all the alien disclosures and UFO disclosures, people are like let's all unify as humanity and dunk on the aliens, the cringe aliens, oh, we can share our cultures, we want to coexist with you, or we want to take over. And it's no, Earth is for the humans. And it's very silly, and it's obviously pulling off of old meme formats, but I think it's so hilarious because one, it's showing like, wow, like these things, like the average Gen Z person now is so laden with the types of like things that the average Gen Z normie understands memes and references and terms, cantle tilt, formats that they would not have understood 10 years ago. And that is just the norm now. And it is the easiest way to communicate ideas in mass. So if you're, a political strategist or a world government official and you want to enact your ends, these are the means that you need to be using. And the alien one in particular is very silly because it's literally what Bill Cooper, it's what Ender's Game. It's like it's the oldest play in the book, like get all the humans to unify against a perceived threat of aliens. It's just funny to see it actually in action now, and it's being spread by a relatively small amount of accounts now. So maybe it is some sort of active government psyop, or maybe it's just people riffing off of the alien disclosures. Either way, it's funny, and I wanted to highlight it here, but that's all I really got to say on the Looksmaxing stuff. If you're watching this channel, you're probably ahead of the curve already as to the direction of the internet. You've probably been aware of these things, and it's odd to see some of the most normal, popular, like scalable things, like hundreds of millions of people interact with things that were previously probably only known about by a relatively small subset of people online. But that's where we are. It is what it is. Stay frosty, everybody.